You know that feeling, right? You're just staring at a task.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a history paper that feels, I don't know, impossible.
Or that project proposal that just sits there on your screen, like a mountain you haven't started climbing.
Exactly. We have all been there, just completely stuck putting things off.
It's such a common thing, isn't it? That tension between what you know you should be doing.
And scrolling your phone instead.
Precisely. That pull towards something easier, something that gives you that instant little bit of relief. It's deeply wired.
Well, today on the Deep Dive, we're doing more than just, nodding along. We're looking at this conversation between two people really grappling with this.
Yeah, and our goal, our mission really, is to pull out the key insights, the practical stuff.
That can help you understand why it happens and, crucially, how you can start to, tackle it right now. We're going beyond just try harder.
Exactly, because often it's not about willpower. We want to get into the emotional roots and give you really techniques.
And we've got some pretty cool examples later too, right? People who figured this out.
We do. Some really inspiring stories.
Okay, so let's dig in. Why do we procrastinate? What's actually going on in our heads when we choose scrolling over starting?
Well, a big part of it is how our brains try to avoid discomfort. Starting something hard, that can feel stressful, overwhelming.
Yeah, it definitely can.
So the brain often just defaults to what feels good now. Like that quick hit from social media you mentioned, it's all about immediate gratification.
That endless scroll.
Yeah.
It's almost automatic sometimes, isn't it? That little dopamine hit wins out over the satisfaction of, actually finishing the thing later.
Exactly. And the source material we looked at also really flags the fear of failure.
Yes.
That worry about, well, what if it's not good enough? What if the paper's terrible? That anxiety can actually stop you from even starting. It's like a defense mechanism.
That makes total sense. If I don't try, I can't fail, right? Of course, the deadline doesn't care about that logic.
Not at all.
And then there's something I definitely struggle with. Perfectionism. That feeling that everything needs to be perfectly set up before I begin.
Oh, that's a classic procrastination trigger.
I keep thinking, I just need a bit more research, or let me just plan this out perfectly first for that proposal. But, perfect never actually arrives.
It doesn't. That need to be totally ready just keeps pushing the start date back. It's a trap. And then sometimes the world around us doesn't help either.
You're telling me. Just when I find a quiet moment, suddenly there's construction noise outside, or, the source mentioned a roommate playing video games.
Right. That constant temptation of something more fun right there. Distractions are a huge factor.
Definitely.
But even without external distractions, just the sheer size of the task can be paralyzing. That 10-page essay example.
Yeah, where do you even start with that?
Exactly. If you don't have a clear first step, it feels like this massive, impossible thing. So you just freeze.
It's like looking at a giant map with no roads marked. So, you gravitate to something smaller, less intimidating.
Precisely. And the really key takeaway here, I think, is that procrastination usually isn't about being lazy. It's tied up with emotions, stress, fear, boredom, self-doubt.
Okay, that's actually quite reassuring. It's not some deep character flaw.
Not usually, no. Recognizing that emotional link is so important for figuring out how to deal with it, instead of just beating yourself up.
Right. Okay, so if it's not just laziness, how do we actually break that cycle? What works? What strategies can we use to get moving?
This is where it gets practical.
Yeah.
And the source we studied highlighted some really effective techniques. Should we start with Pomodoro?
Yeah, let's do that. So the basic idea is you work in focused bursts, right? Like 25 minutes of solid work, followed by a short, 5-minute break. And you repeat that cycle, and after maybe 4 rounds, you take a longer break.
Exactly. And the power there is that 25 minutes feels doable. It doesn't feel like you have to commit hours right away.
It lowers the barrier to entry, kind of. The source mentioned someone used it to outline a proposal, right?
Yeah.
And got more done in a couple of focused hours than in a whole week of just dabbling.
Yeah, it's surprisingly powerful for focus. It fights that mental fatigue because you know a break is coming soon. It sort of tricks your brain into starting.
It turns the marathon into little sprints. Okay, I like that. Then there's the 2-minute rule. That sounds almost too simple.
It does, but don't underestimate it. The basic idea is if something takes less than 2 minutes, just do it immediately. Answer that email, put that dish away.
Clear those little things off your plate.
Exactly. But the other part of it for bigger tasks is to just commit to starting for only 2 minutes. Like the example, just open the document, write 1 sentence.
Just 1 sentence. Okay, that sounds ridiculously easy. But I can actually see how that could work. It's like just cracking the door open, isn't it?
It is. It's
Yeah.
all about breaking the inertia, getting that initial momentum going. And often once you start, you keep going.
Okay. Momentum. Got it. Yeah. And what about motivation? The source talked about rewards, too.
Ah, yes, strategic self-bribery.
Huh. I like that term.
It's basically rewarding yourself for completing a chunk of work. Watch an episode of that show you like, have a cookie, whatever works for you.
So you're kind of hacking that desire for immediate gratification we talked about earlier.
Exactly. You're using it to your advantage this time, linking it to getting the work done, which is smart. And naturally, we have to talk about managing distractions.
The phone,
Yeah.
the notifications, the
Kate.
everything.
Yep. Practical tips came up, like physically moving your phone to another room while you work, or using those apps that block distracting websites or social media for set periods.
Creating that physical or digital barrier. It sounds simple, but it probably makes a huge difference.
It really can. And one final, really crucial strategy, setting clear, specific goals.
Right. Not just work on essay.
No, something concrete, like draft the intro paragraph by 3 p.m. Or find 3 relevant quotes by lunchtime. It gives you a clear target.
Makes it measurable. You know, when you've actually achieved something. It's like setting a waypoint on that map.
Precisely. It makes progress feel real.
Okay, these all sound great in theory. Pomodoro, 2-minute rule, rewards, managing distractions, clear goals. But do they actually work in the real world? You mentioned success stories earlier.
Absolutely. And they're quite compelling. Our source highlighted Maria, a college student who is really struggling, like failing classes because of procrastination.
Oh, okay.
But she started using the Pomodoro technique and setting these tiny daily study goals, sometimes just 10 minutes to start.
Just 10 minutes.
Just 10 minutes. And she completely turned things around, ended up graduating with honors, and now she actually teaches these same methods to her own students.
That's incredible. Seriously, from failing to honors and now helping others, that really shows these small changes can have a massive impact.
It really does. And then there's a name you'll definitely recognize, J.K. Rowling.
The Harry Potter author. How does she fit in?
Well, think about writing something as massive as that series. Apparently, she tackled the overwhelming scale by setting really small daily word count goals, sometimes as low as just 200 words.
200 words. That's it for Harry Potter.
That's what the source suggests. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it, that this global phenomenon was built, potentially, on these tiny, consistent steps.
Wow. That totally reframes how you think about tackling huge projects. Just chip away at it. Okay, anyone else?
One more Elon Musk. Think about the complexity he manages, SpaceX, other ventures, tons of pressure, tight deadlines.
Yeah, how does he manage that?
His approach is reportedly very structured time blocking, scheduling pretty much every hour of his day to stay focused and productive across all those demands.
Intense.
Yeah.
But clearly effective for that level of complexity. These examples are really powerful. They show it's not about some magic ability. It's about using the right strategies consistently.
Exactly what we wanted to convey. It's achievable. And building on that, the source had a really neat idea for you, listening right now, to feel that power of just starting.
Yes. The microtask idea, I loved this. It's basically saying, stop thinking, stop planning for a second, and just do one tiny thing related to what you're putting off for like 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes. Like, if it's that essay, maybe just type the first sentence fragment, the impact of the Industrial Revolution was. Or for that proposal, just jot down 3 bullet points. Yeah. Anything.
The goal isn't to finish, right? It's just to break that initial friction, to show yourself starting isn't actually that painful.
Exactly. And often, as the source pointed out, once you take that tiny step, you might find you just keep going. You get into a flow unexpectedly.
That momentum again.
Oh, no.
Okay, so here's the challenge for you listening. Pause us. Right now, set a timer for 5 minutes, pick one thing you've been avoiding, and do one tiny micro task related to it. Go on, we'll wait.
Seriously, just 5 minutes. Give it a try.
Short pause. Okay, welcome back. How did that feel? Hopefully you got that little buzz of having started, that feeling of, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad.
Even a tiny step forward can change your mindset, can't it? So let's quickly recap the big takeaways from our chat. Procrastination. Super common, often emotional, not just laziness.
Right. It stems from feeling overwhelmed, maybe fear, maybe just discomfort. But the good news is we have tools. The Pomodoro technique, the 2-minute rule.
Using rewards smartly, actively managing those distractions, setting really clear, specific goals.
All ways to break things down and make starting easier. And we saw those real-life examples. Maria, J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk.
Yeah, people from totally different walks of life who conquered procrastination using these very principles. It proves these are skills you can learn, not fixed traits.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, here's something to think about. What if you really leaned into that? The power of consistent small actions. What if microtasks became a regular habit?
Just imagine the cumulative effect over time. What could you achieve if you consistently managed to just start? Something to definitely ponder on your own.